right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, don't look now, folks, but the start of the 2021 NFL season is right around the corner. And I want to talk tonight about the NFC West. As you look at this division, it's been highly competitive in the last couple of years, and we've seen these teams become very familiar with each other. And granted, when you're talking about divisional opponents, regardless of the division, everybody has a level of familiarity with one another. But in this NFC West, you look at it, it's very physical brand of ball, a lot of similarity. There's really no upsets. Anybody can beat anybody. And you look at this and just say, who's going to survive this division in order to get to the postseason? You look at the 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers are definitely looking to bounce back here in 2021. Of course, you saw the 49ers come out of nowhere in 2019 to, win this division en route to a Super Bowl appearance. 2020 never really got going for the 49ers as, they were just decimated by injuries on both sides of the ball. They do have some players back this year. They've lost their defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, who is now the head coach of the New York Jets, and he's been replaced by former linebacker D'Amico Ryans. But you look at this Niners club, and they really want to try to find a way to bounce back. First things first, when you talk about the 49ers right now, you look at the quarterback position. Is it going to be the veteran Jimmy Garoppolo, or is it going to be the rookie Trey Lance? And remember, the 49ers traded up uh, in the NFL draft this past spring, the draft Trey Lance. And you don't trade up as far as they went to get a guy like Lance to have him sitting on the bench. They're still sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo for now, but I do think at some point during the season, the 49ers will make the adjustment and they will go with the rookie Trey Lance. Regardless of who the quarterback is, the Niners definitely need to get back to their rushing game. When we saw them dominate in 2019, they were very physical at the line of scrimmage with their rushing attack. You look at veteran Raheem Mostert, but I also want to see what the rookie Trey Sermon is going to be able to do for this club here in 2021. Of course, the Niners still have all-world tight end George Kittle. The one thing I will say, typically when you have an offense where your best threat in the passing game is your tight end, and you don't have that explosiveness at the wide receiver position, it can hinder you. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Niners are able to do this year. Defensively, like I said, D'Amico Ryans is replacing Robert Saleh. The return of Nick Bosa, he tore his ACL early on in the 2020 NFL season. He's back now, and the Niners need him to be the Nick Bosa that he was in 2019 because he really predicated a lot of things what that defense was able to do, especially on the back four in that secondary. I think the Niners will be an improved team this year. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play some inspired football because, he knows that Trey Lance is coming. So it's going to be interesting to see if Garoppolo plays well enough and he stays healthy to keep Lance on the bench. That's going to be an interesting thing for San Francisco. The new look Los Angeles Rams. And of course, the big trade this offseason, the Rams made the trade with the Detroit Lions that sent quarterback Jared Goff to the Motor City. And in exchange, the Rams received veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford. A lot of people are very high on this because you look at Stafford, he's put up big numbers on some bad Lions teams over the years. Now he's with Sean McVay out in Southern California, and the hope is that, Stafford with a new home can now get not only a taste of the postseason, he's been there before with the Lions, but get a postseason victory and make a potential Super Bowl run this year. Losing Cam Akers to injury is that's really gonna hurt this Rams rushing attack. They have Darrell Henderson Jr., but we also saw them a couple of days ago, the Rams acquire running back Sony Michel from the New England Patriots. So it's going to be interesting to see how quick that Michelle will be able to get up to speed with this Rams offense. Los Angeles has plenty of firepower in their passing game. When you think about Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and now you bring in veteran Deshaun Jackson. And of course, Jackson might not be the guy that he was about 10 years ago, but still, this guy, he can still get it done. He's always been a solid route runner, and now he's home in Southern California. This is a guy who is from the Southern California area, played his college ball up north at Cal, and now he's getting the opportunity to play for the Rams at home. So I think that's going to be big. Defensively, Aaron Donald is still Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players, one of the best players, period, regardless of position in the National Football League. And you think about what he's been able to do from that defensive tackle position, just wreak havoc on opposing quarterbacks for nearly a decade. This Rams defense will have a different feel to it. No Michael Brockers on that defensive line. That's going to be big. You think about what he has done alongside Aaron Donald for these past couple of years. Of course, he was a part of that deal that saw the Rams acquire Matt Stafford from the Detroit Lions. You still have Jalen Ramsey in that secondary. And I want to see, what Leonard Floyd can do. He had a big season with the Rams last year, and I want to see if he's going to be able to build off of that. And the Rams are right good. They're going to be in this mix to win this division. I think that Sean McVay knows that his time is now as far as making a push for another Super Bowl run. Because when you look at it, the Rams have given up a lot of draft capital and they have a lot of money concentrated on only a few players. So, with that said, you got to go make that push now if you're the Rams to try to make and get that Super Bowl championship. Now, after barely missing out on the postseason in 2020, are the Arizona Cardinals ready to take the next step this season? And I really thought that the Cardinals should have been a playoff team last season. They let it slip away, and with some very questionable losses to some very bad teams. And I think that's all a part of the growing up that this Cardinals team has to do. And it starts with quarterback Kyler Murray. Is he ready to take his game to the next level? We know that Kyler Murray has an arm. We know that Kyler Murray is very athletic, and you can make the case that he is this generation's version of Fran Tarkenton with the way that he scrambles around in that pocket. But nonetheless, he's got to be able to take his game to the next level. And head coach Cliff Kingsbury needs to take his coaching to the next level as well if the Cards are not only going to be able to survive this division, but also get to the playoffs. You look at what Arizona has in the passing game. Of course, you still have DeAndre Hopkins, who is one of, if not the best wide receivers in the National Football League right now. You have a budding star in Christian Kirk. No more Larry Fitzgerald. And of course, he's been a fixture in this Cards offense since 2003. But you bring in another veteran in A.J. Green, the former Cincinnati Bengal. And I think that A.J. Green definitely has something to prove. He's played on some bad Bengals teams over the years. There are some people that think that he's done, but I think with a new address in the NFL and being with a new organization, I think he will have an opportunity to rejuvenate his career and, prove his naysayers wrong. That's going to be important for Arizona with this passing game because they have had struggles running the football in recent years, even dating back to last year. I know that the Cards picked up former Pittsburgh Steelers running back James Conner in free agency this offseason, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to springboard this Cardinals offense. Defensively, Arizona got a lot better. They added veteran J.J. Watt and veteran Malcolm Butler. And you think about what Butler has done throughout his career as a cornerback in the NFL, of course, at University of Phoenix Stadium, of course, many moons ago versus the Seahawks in Super Bowl number 48 rather. No, 49, I'm sorry. He made that big play to preserve the Super Bowl championship for the New England Patriots. And nonetheless, now, he's played with the Titans after he left the Patriots. But I think, the Malcolm Butler is a guy that at times he can be overlooked, and he has been overlooked in his career. And I think, if Malcolm Butler is the type of guy, if you sleep on him, he can make you pay. We know what J.J. Watt has been throughout his career as one of the better pass rushers of his era. He does have some mileage on him with a bad back. But I think coming into this scenario with a new football address, just like AJ Green, I think it could rejuvenate the future Hall of Famer. You also have Chandler Jones on this defense, and then Isaiah Simmons. I want to see what he's going to do now. He has a year under him in the NFL. And what's he going to be able to do to come out there and make an impact? This guy, he has the potential to be all over the field in multiple positions. And I think Isaiah Simmons has the opportunity to step up and add to his game this year. It's going to be tough for the Cardinals to make the playoffs. I think that they will improve, but the problem is, it's just this division is so tough when you think about the Rams and the 49ers, and then, of course, the Seattle Seahawks. We saw the Seahawks win this division last year, but they were defeated by the Rams in the wild card round. You look at Russell Wilson, their fine quarterback. He continues to put up big numbers, but you could see some frustration on Wilson. Very interesting offseason as there was rumors about Wilson potentially being traded to the Chicago Bears. Never came to fruition. The Seahawks have attempted to allow cooler heads to prevail. And remember, it wasn't Wilson who asked for this trade. It was the Seahawks who were out there trying to shop him. But nonetheless, you look at Seattle, they've struggled with their running game. They've struggled with their offensive line. You have DJ Metcalf and Tyler Lockett at wide receiver, but the Seahawks have been unable to consistently run the football since they had Marshawn Lynch, and that was several years ago. So many questions on the offensive line. Jamal Adams, their safety, just got a big payday. But Adams is at his best when he's playing closer to the line of scrimmage. You need some more coverage back in that secondary, and they don't have it right now. You still have Bobby Wagner at linebacker, leading this defense. But there's too many questions for Seattle defensively on the defensive line. There's also too many questions for them in the secondary, and I still question their offensive line. Russell Wilson, is going to be Russell Wilson. Don't get me wrong about it. But it's going to be tough for him alone to try to navigate and help this team win this division. Again, this is a very difficult division. You look at it, I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to coaching. It's going to come back down to the play of the quarterbacks. And it's also going to come down to the play of the supporting cast, as well as which team is going to be able to find a way to get enough out of their respective running game. Very little margin for error in this division because, if you lose two divisional games, it could really put you behind the hump in a big way in this division, which means you have to go out there and take care of your business outside of the division. And more importantly, you got to go beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And that's something that Arizona failed to do last year, which is why they were watching the playoffs from home. I think this division probably won't be decided until the final week of the season, but I'm going to roll with the Rams. I like the addition of Matthew Stafford, and I really think that he has something to prove out there in Los Angeles with the Rams. I think Sean McVay has something to prove as well because he traded Jared Goff, a former first overall pick in the NFL draft, and now he's going for a veteran in Matthew Stafford. And you look at this, you just look at the veterans as a whole that the Rams have on both sides of the ball. It's now or never for them as far as making that Super Bowl run. So it's going to be interesting to see what Los Angeles is able to do. I still think that Seattle will be in the mix for a postseason spot because it's very difficult to write off a team when they have Russell Wilson under center at quarterback. The 49ers will improve, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo will play as good as he possibly can. Not saying he's going to have a great season, not saying that he's going to be an MVP, but he sees the writing on the wall. And when you trade up for a quarterback with the potential that Trey Lance has, if you're a veteran like Jimmy G, you know what? It's put up or shut up. And at the end of the day, obviously his future is not in the Bay Area with the 49ers. He could take this opportunity here in 2021 to showcase himself for another NFL home in 2022. The Cards, like I said, I just think they have the unenviable task of having to play in this difficult division. They're going to be right there, but I'm just not sure if they're going to have enough to get over the hump and get past those other teams to make the postseason. So with the start of the NFL season right around the corner, I think the NFC West is going to be one of the contentious divisions in the NFL. A lot of excitement, a lot of action. And like I said, when you have so many competitive teams in one division, it leaves you with very little margin for error. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.